It's about 1:30 a.m. and I'm reporting right on the side of the 405 freeway just a couple blocks away from UCLA. Now, a major wildfire has just broken out on the side of the freeway. The firefighters have arrived.
According to the vice president of Tulane University Hospital, Karen Trojer-Caraway, who we just spoke to, there is a levee that has been breached.
A new study suggests residents living in the East Bay are struggling with quality of life issues. The East Bay Community Foundation compiled data from 58 reports that show increasing poverty levels, fewer living wage job opportunities, less affordable housing, and...
Greetings, brethren, and thank you for your interest in your Supreme Council's Almoners Fund. Our individual valleys also maintain their own Hospitaller and Almoners Fund. Sadly, fire, flood, illness, even job loss are all part of the drama of human life. Our fraternity has had a long history of caring for each other in difficult times. Did you ever think about just how long we have been doing that? For that matter, what is a Hospitaller or Almoner? To answer that question, I've asked Jerry Roach to give us some history.
The Hospitallers arose from the work of an Amalfian hospital founded to provide care for poor, sick, or injured pilgrims in Jerusalem around 1023 AD. After the success of the First Crusade in 1099, they became a religious and military order charged with the care and defense of the Holy Land. Though they were renamed the Sovereign Military Order of Malta in 1834, they continue to this day as a lay religious order, dedicated to the relief of the poor and suffering in over 120 countries worldwide. Their name is used by Masonic institutions due to the antiquity of their relationship with the Knights Templar. Historically, an almoner has been a Christian church functionary whose duty it was to distribute financial relief to the deserving poor. The term came into common usage around the middle of the 13th century. The almoner remains an active and important office in Masonic lodges in many jurisdictions. He is the contact for members seeking relief and looks after the welfare of members, including visits to the sick and elderly. It is the almoner's duty to care for the needs of his brethren, but he should not stand alone. When we remember the obligation we have all taken as Master Masons, we know this to be our duty too. That is why the Supreme Council's Almoners Fund is so essential. It helps us to fulfill our Masonic obligations, not only to members of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite, but to all of our brethren in Freemasonry.
Thank you, JR. Now let's see what our Grand Almoner, Russ Baker, can tell us about our Almoners Fund today.
Thank you, Commander. As Grand Almoner, the greatest reward I have is knowing firsthand the impact we have on the lives of our brothers in their time of need. Through the thoughtfulness of several brothers, proceeds from their bequests have enabled our Almoners Fund to grow significantly. And in keeping in line with our vision statement, we are now in a much better position to assist our brothers in their time of need. Please listen to a few stories which will tell you about how we are fulfilling our obligation to care for our brothers today.
Severe illness is a burden not only to those coping with the illness, but to their family members as well. Family finances can be devastating, and a lifetime of savings wiped out. I was made aware that one of our brothers was in just such a circumstance. A family member had called his valley office, asking only for some consideration in the payment of his dues. In the course of the conversation, and in between the tears, the family's financial situation became clear. May I share with you that thanks to the concern of the Valley Secretary and help from your Supreme Council's Almoners Fund, this family was provided with some much needed support. This brother's personal struggles were not over, but we were able to provide him something that was desperately needed. Evidence of our practice of our true Masonic principles. Stories like this make one proud to be a member of our fraternity, and I am sure that they make you proud as well.
It is not always a catastrophic event or natural disaster that adversely affects our brothers in Freemasonry. There can be a multitude of reasons for a brother to be experiencing economic suffering. For instance, one such case involved the failure of the professional transportation that was needed to pursue the main source of income for a family. Through the Almoners Fund, we were able to provide the necessary resources to restore the vehicle and to get him on the road again. While not a major distribution, it represented a sum that could not be met from a brother working part-time at night to pay his bills. As Freemasons, we need to recognize that distress doesn't necessarily mean disaster. This brother, who had to drop out of line in his lodge, is now back in line and serving his lodge. It is nice to know that a small gesture on our behalf made a world of difference to our brother.
Hello, my name is Gail Kemp, and I'm here with Benny Grisham to tell you a little bit about the Scottish Rite Almoners Fund and the devastating power of nature. Benny, our part of the country, suffered through some of the worst flooding in modern times. All along the Mississippi, towns were inundated, farmlands turned into vast lakes, and levees burst their seams and were overrun. Countless homes were destroyed, and a great many businesses were lost.
Gail, it was just terrible. The floods created havoc everywhere. Several of our brethren were flooded out. Masonic lodges were not immune either. One lodge in particular had some real damage.
Brethren, you know that's where our Scottish Rite Almoners Fund got to work. We were able to provide some real help to those in need. We even helped to put one of our lodges back on its feet. Benny, would you read a letter that we received here at Supreme Council from that lodge?
Sure, Gail. It'd be my pleasure. Dear brethren, I am Dennis Brown, Worshipful Master of Caledonia Lodge number 47 of Olive Branch, Illinois. As you know by now, our lodge experienced flood damage and repair costs that exceeded $15,000. The flood nearly destroyed our lodge, and you sent brothers Rick Swaney and Benny Grisham to our lodge with a check for $5,000. We appreciate your generosity. The community was flooded, and you gave each of our brothers who incurred flood damage a check to help with their expenses of repairing their homes. This kind gesture has our community abuzz. People have been asking about becoming members of Scottish Rite, including me. We have 9 questioning people in my lodge who have asked for petitions. Our community experienced much suffering and heartache, and it touches my heart that people such as your organization have taken the bull by the horns and offered us all financial help. I cannot thank you enough for your gift, and I hope one day we can repay you, if not financially, in some other way, as letting you know that you have done us a great service, and that no one else other than the Blue Lodge has offered to do such. Not even the federal government has offered us any help. It is a pleasure knowing that we have friends such as you, and one day I hope to reach out my hand and pull you from the raging waters such as you have done for us. Your brother, Dennis Brown, Worshipful Master. Kind of tugs at your heartstrings, doesn't it, Gail?
It sure does, Benny. It makes me really proud to be part of our Scottish Rite. Well, brethren, thanks for listening. Thanks for your support, and so long.
Hello, my name is Steve Smith, and I'm here to share with you a story of both tragedy and hope. We've all heard about people who have experienced terrible fires in their lives. We just never think that it will happen to someone we know. That, unfortunately, was not the case this time. This past winter, our brother and his family were awakened by an early morning fire in their home. To make matters worse, in an effort to gather some warm clothing to protect against the bitter cold, a family member was severely burned. The next morning's light revealed that our brother and his family had lost everything. At a time like this, we all wish that somehow we had the power to make it all go away, to put things back as they were. Unfortunately, that sort of power is not given to us. But there was something that we could do. An appeal was made for help from the Supreme Council's Almoners Fund, which was promptly answered. Our valley also made a meaningful contribution from its Hospitalers Fund. I was privileged to be there when our brother was handed 2 envelopes. Because we purposely gave him the envelopes as we parted, we did not see him open them. Let me share with you a brief note we received from our brother. To my brethren, how do words express my gratitude for the monetary gifts bestowed upon me? I am overwhelmed at this gift as well as your brotherly love. My pride as a Scottish Rite member is shining. Thank you and God bless. If our brother is proud to be a Scottish Rite Freemason, then we can be doubly proud to be part of a fraternity that would give him such a feeling.
Hello, I'm Rich Elliott. I'd like to share a story with you. It's a story of desperation, yet one of hope. We live in uncertain times, and each and every day we continue to hear about business closings and job loss. Savings that may have taken a lifetime for an individual to build up can only last for so long. Sadly, it could happen to any of us. Imagine how you would feel if such a hardship happened in your life. One of our brothers found himself in just such a circumstance. His own words tell the story far better than I could. Please listen while I share them with you. Now a week after being informed that I would be the recipient of an unbelievably large gift to assist me and my family to reestablish ourselves, the words of gratitude simply escape me. 10 days before my home, where I lived with my wife and 2 small children, was due to be sold at auction, I asked to see the deputy for my state. Remembering an article in the Northern Light, and having just seen the video introducing the vision statement, and recalling the deputy's reiteration of the commander's desire that we are to be a fraternity that is here to help our brethren, I swallowed my pride, choked back the tears of failure, embarrassment, and humiliation, and I asked for help. What happened next is an unbelievable testament to the quality of the people in the ancient accepted Scottish Rite. The deputy for my state listened with candor, passed no judgment, offered comfort, support, and a promise that the proper people would be informed. 1 week after sitting with the deputy and sharing one of the lowest moments of my life, we met again. And the deputy, with the use of his cell phone, shared with me an email. The number leaped off the screen at me. It was large and what I needed. What the other words on the screen were, I may never know, but they were directed to assist a distressed brother. I am still struggling with why I would be found worthy of such support. How I remained standing and kept my composure is beyond me. After returning home, I told my wife, who like me is still in disbelief. What an amazing fraternity. I want to thank you for setting forth and living out our Masonic tenets of brotherly love, relief, and truth. I am still overwhelmed by actions of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite and wrestling with any words to describe my sincere and heartfelt thanks for this institution taking an interest and staking the claim of importance of a single member. My brothers, you have just heard a brother's testimony to a fraternity that truly does strive to fulfill its obligation to care for each other. My hope is that there will never come a day when you find yourself in a similar circumstance. But be assured that if you do, we will do all that is within our capacity to help you too.
The Scottish Rite Freemasons of the Northern Masonic jurisdiction are proud of the aid that their Almoners Fund has been able to give. So how can you help? Please keep your eyes and ears open, and if you see or hear of any of our brethren who may need financial assistance, please make your Valley Secretary, Deputy's Representative, or any active member of the Supreme Council aware of the circumstances. They will make sure that your state deputy is informed, and he will make sure that the matter is properly addressed. Aid can be on its way in as little as 24 hours after approval. You can also be certain that any information that would identify the brother will be kept strictly confidential. I know that we can depend upon you to care for your brothers. Thank you for your interest in our Almoners Fund.